It's hard not to know about the whole enchilada, but if somebody describes it without mentioning the name, it almost sounds made up. A single ride where you can go from the high alpine to the desert in just a few hours, and with a shuttle to boot. This is without a doubt one of the best rides in the US. For the final day of our Colorado road trip, we cheated a little bit and drove over to Moab, Utah. Hey, it's kinda close to the Colorado border, so it still counts, right? Our objective, as you can probably guess, was the whole enchilada. This ride involves looking southeast of Moab to the La Salle mountain range. Getting up there is done with an hour-long shuttle up Forest Service roads to the drop spot of Geyser Pass. A few crazies pedal up this, but they really are very few. The ride peaks at Burro Pass in the high alpine forest at an elevation of about 12,000 feet. And from there, it flows down an ever-changing landscape to the Colorado River at about 4,000 feet. A short pedal along the road will lead back to Moab to complete this amazing all-day shuttled loop. We have saved one of the best for last. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a couple of years. The last few times I've been to Moab, it has been a no-go because of the weather, and the weather has finally worked with us. So the ride starts with a short climb from Geyser to Burro Pass. While it's only 500-ish feet, at this elevation you will definitely feel it.
This portion of the climb, insanely steep. I'm in my Eagle gear and I barely have enough power to keep moving.
If you do this in fall, which I seriously recommend that you do, the beautiful scenery will be a nice distraction from the suffering, and the weather is really nice from top to bottom, which is really super relevant once you get to the desert.
Ready?
The descent off the top of Burro can only be described as
steep, 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 and loose. Wow, this is unexpectedly steep.
Whether it makes you happy or bums you out, the super steep switchback-filled section isn't very long. Most of the challenge really comes from the fact that you're just starting the day and you get thrown into one of the hardest sections of the ride. But very quickly, you will join the path of the wet fork of Mill Creek, which is much less steep and allows for easier speed. Don't be fooled though, it's still a techie area with enough rocks to keep you having fun.
Whew. That's some good stuff. One of the things that makes this ride extra special is the change in vegetation. As you can see, we're no longer in the high alpine. It's now forest, and very soon becomes desert.
As you're riding through this, the transitions happen in a way that if you're not paying attention, it's really hard to establish when you left the high alpine or got below the forest. The riding is just so much fun, it kind of fades one into the other. But it really is worth paying attention, as the nature aspect of this ride is truly unique.
Oh wow, now I know where you guys stopped here.
The view spots along the route are worth stopping at to enjoy the feel of being out there that no video can capture. This is a long ride. You won't get the KOM, so don't rush through it. It's worth enjoying those stops along with the riding. After the view spot, it's another change of vegetation, and deep into the aspens we go for yet another part of this ride that is so special, and part of why I recommend coming in fall. The yellow is almost enchanting, especially for a Floridian like myself who doesn't live in an area with these colors. This flat aspen area is the end of the Burro Pass trail. Hazard Country, which is coming up, will already be outside of the aspens, so we took the opportunity to just chill for a bit before we continued to make our way down. So far, we've made our way down Burro Pass to Miners Basin Trailhead. A short climb and a beautiful descent are coming up in Hazard County. Leaving the aspens behind, we move to open fields.
Okay, I have to stop climbing because I have to show you what's to the left. You have desert, forest, yellow aspens all around us, high alpine, and then just basically barren peaks, and that one even has some snow on it. I'm just turning around, completely different place.
And just as the vegetation, the character of the trail and the nature of the riding changed drastically at this point.
This is such good single track.
There's no more roots from any trees, and instead we're presented with winding single track with a lot of rocks.
Not very steep, just rocky enough. You can still really put your bike down on the side when you want to turn. Lots of traction.
After the open fields, the trail starts to wind between shrubbery and a never-ending left and right motion, where everything is pumpable and opportunities for pedal-free speed are endless. The narrow nature makes this bit tons of fun and also tons of work. We're not there yet, but at this point you can definitely notice that desert rockiness starting to creep in. While Hazard is about 2/3 the distance of Burro, the high-speed nature of it will make it feel way shorter. This is definitely a section where you will wish there was more trail before you hit that road that marks the end of Hazard County and the start of Kokopelli.
This section of the trail, Kokopelli, is just basically this Jeep road, and it's not very much fun. It's probably the worst part of the whole trail.
And I know, not everybody agrees with me on that, but I just really don't find high-speed double track to be that entertaining. Anyhow, after a short bit of time on this road, well, we just made it to Upper Porcupine single track, and we're gonna stop here for lunch. Tiny little shaded area, because there's not much shade around this trail, so if you find a place like this, it's cool. Our lunch spot at the end of Kokopelli is just about the halfway point for the ride, both in elevation loss and distance. The next section is Upper and Lower Porcupine single track, more commonly known as UPS and LPS. UPS, particularly the beginning, is defined by its up and down nature. Two things to take into account here. First, I don't really know the lines. If you know where you're going, this can be done so much faster. And second, while it doesn't look very exciting on camera, this section is still tons of fun, particularly if you enjoy techier, punchy pedal sprints to get up feature and roll down the other side. There's also a ton of small drops and some nice flowy sections amid all the tech. UPS and LPS definitely score very high for variety. In some way, they are the transition from everything you've seen before to the full desert experience of Porcupine Rim.
It's crazy how much grip the rock has. Oh, that is steep as
We haven't really mentioned the cliff that comes in and out of view at the edge of the screen. While the vertical wall off the edge is only 400 feet tall, the total elevation drop to Castle Valley below is about 1,500 feet, making for a captivating view that is commanding of respect. Definitely measure your speed around here and be safe around that edge.
nice.
At this point, you get to the world famous notch, as in it's not the notch, which is an even harder feature that we didn't attempt.
You come down through there, turn around here, maybe hop around a bit, and then go down this. And I don't know how it looks on the GoPro. I have seen this in video a million times and I knew it was sketchy. There is absolutely no way I am even going to try this.
So yeah, I'm sorry to say I walked it. No attempts this time. Risk management is a really important thing for me. Being out there in such a remote area, I felt better playing it safe since I didn't feel like I had the skills for it. You know how sometimes you see a feature and you feel like you can do it even though it's scary? Here, I really didn't even get to that point. So, I'll guess I'll have to come back in a couple years to try it again. As a side note, I've walked the actual notch and I don't even understand how that's humanly possible to ride. If you thought this notch looked sketch, the actual notch is nonsense. I wish I had taken video of it. The remainder of LPS is churny, twisty, rocky single track that meanders closer to and further away from the cliff again and again. It's an area where you'll want to make sure you're on the right line. The last and largest continuous section of trail is Porcupine Rim, bordering the last bit of the rim on top of Castle Valley before going towards Grandstaff Canyon. You'll probably want to take some time to stop at one of the view spots to get one last glimpse of Castle Valley and take the opportunity to get some pictures. As you approach the end of the trail, it borders a massive cliff above the Colorado River with amazing views, exposure, and phenomenal riding. Porcupine Rim has its fair share of tough technical climbs that, depending on the type of rider you are, you'll either love or hate. There's also a few sections of precise descending where most riders will have to dial it back a little bit. But, for the most part, it's tons and tons of high-speed fun.
Really get to see that exposure a lot here. A beautiful canyon on my right side. I fit there. Ankles, okay.
There's no doubt this is one of the most fun parts of this ride. Everybody will have different opinions, but to me, Burro Pass plus Hazard County and Porcupine Rim are the most fun trails on this route. Just absolutely perfect. It means you start and end with the best, which may be part of the reason why everybody who does the whole enchilada ends thinking that the effort is absolutely worth it.
What a view.
There's just one more bit of trail to go, which is famous for being incredibly challenging.
This part is the sketchy ending. There's a lot of stuff there that can catch your wheel. Once you're on that thing, it's easy to ride down. was scary. That was very scary.
Can you believe a few aliens are actually able to hop onto that ledge in front of us? So I carried my bike up to the ledge, but this is the first time I've actually managed to ride what comes after it.
That is unbelievable. I cannot believe I just rode that. Oh, no way. What the? Well, guys, this is basically the end of the trail at this point. I had done Porcupine Rim before, but now that I've done the whole thing, you have got to come ride this trail at some point in your life. It is just, it's so long, it's so varied. You get to ride everything that's out there within a couple of hours. It has every level of tech imaginable. There's stuff that is just insane to things that most intermediate riders will be able to pull off. It's just, it is such a fun trail.
And so, we're wrapping up this fall road trip through Colorado with a small Utah detour. The whole Enchilada was the perfect last ride. Well, I hope you had fun coming along for these videos. I personally can't wait to get out on the road next season again. Until then, happy riding.
Good stuff, right? Phenomenal ride.